What is going on, guys? We are back for some more TCG Pocket. Today, we're going to be rocking out with a Blastoise deck. We're going to be showing you guys how to use Blastoise EX. And of course, this is always my opinion on deck building. Honestly, I could use some help with it. I am not perfect with it. But this is the deck that I have come up with, and hopefully you guys can have some opinions on it as well. Leave it in the comment section down below what you would do with a Venusaur, or a Blastoise EX deck. In the last episode, though, we did play with Venusaur, so go check that out if you missed it. But today, we're going to be rocking out with a Blastoise EX deck. We're going to be rocking out with 2 Squirtles, 2 War Turtles, 2 Blastoise EX, and obviously, you're going to go for Bazooka, because Bazooka, when you have 5 Water Energy onto your Blastoise, is 160 damage instead of 100. It is one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the game that can do one of the most amount of damage. I think it actually does the second most amount of raw damage when you have the 5 energies on it. You play Mewtwo. Mewtwo is a 2 retreat cost, 120 HP Pokemon. You have no intentions of attacking with this thing. It is strictly to be a wall for you. You play 2 potions, 2 Pokeballs, a red card. We play Old Amber in this deck as well. You can use any of the fossils, but Old Amber just thematically has the blue color to it. Play some Misties, play some Sabrinas, and play some Professor's Research. So this is kind of a Cerulean City deck, honestly. And honestly, I like the theme of it. But basically, the entire game plan is around Bazooka. End all be all. You don't have any other attackers. If you lose your 2 Blastoises, you lose this game. You cannot attack, period. This deck, unlike the Venusaur deck, though, does have 5 basic Pokemon when you include the Old Amber into it. Old Amber is kind of a commonly used way to kind of counter Sabrina a little bit right now. It gives you something else you can put on your bench, but your Mewtwo's are kind of your walls while you build up that Blastoise. Everything about this is making Blastoise live, though. So the potions are there to keep Blastoise healthy. The Pokeballs are there. The way this game works is that you're guaranteed to get one of your 4 basic Pokemon. The Old Amber doesn't count because it's a trainer. So you're guaranteed to get Mewtwo or Squirtle. One of the 2, right? Even if you Pokeball for one of them and get the same one again, you will at least always guarantee that you have a Blastoise game in hand with your second Pokeball. Red card is strictly for disruption. It's not used in every game. It's not always. The good players can keep 3 cards in their hand and kind of force you to not play it. But turn 1, it's always a +1 for the whole game. And then late game, if you have someone who really is hoarding cards and then you see they're not really getting the hand they need, you can throw it all back. They get 3 cards in their hand. It's really more of a card advantage. But obviously it's a -1 for you, so you need to make it worth it on your opponent's side. Not always perfect, but it does sometimes stall some games out for you long enough that you can get your Blastoise online. 2 Misties. Misties is one of the most broken cards in the game, and by broken, I mean I will never get heads, and so it's never broken for me. But basically, until you flip tails, you can add as many water energies as you flip heads on. This is the only way in the game currently that you can attack on the first turn of the game. So Mistying turn 1 with Squirtle as a lead is a way to actually do damage off the first turn of the game, which normally no one can really do. So it's kind of, we aren't totally screwed going first. And that's sort of kind of a big deal because there aren't very many decks that benefit from that right now. And of course, really Misty's main goal, just get 1 or 2 heads and you speed up that Blastoise EX so much more, right? And if you can get Blastoise EX out fast, it's game over. 2 Sabrinas, this is basically just to kind of force in matchups. Basically, what you're trying to do is force your opponent to give you a 3-point game versus a 4-point game. And what I mean by that is that you're going to probably knock out somebody that's not an EX Pokemon. Your opponents are going to try to force you to knock out another non-EX Pokemon and then make you take out an EX. Otherwise, they're going to make you take out 2 EX Pokemon. And so really what you're trying to do is just get the points in your favor that you can just win with 3. Because EX Pokemon are supposed to be better than the non-EX counterparts. But it's really just about positioning. And you can kind of slow an opponent down, right? Like say that they have 4 energies that they need to attack on something. They're at 3. Their bench Pokemon has nothing. And they need 2 or 3. And they don't have anything on it. You can slow them down for 2 turns. And so just, again, giving you time to keep getting that Blastoise going. Of course, Professor Research is just standard. It's basically Pot of Greed. It's what it is. It is Pot of Greed in the Pokemon TCG Pocket world. And so that is our deck today. Let me know if you have any variations that you would make onto this deck. I have tried some other things. When I first started it, I started with Snorlax. Snorlax just has a very high retreat cost. Kangaskhan is another kind of cool option, 100 HP. You can actually put energy onto it and attack. It does work. And the other thing that I looked at was Starmie. But Starmie and Staryu are, it's another EX game, and so I thought it was a little bit more risky. I like having this just be a Blastoise deck. But that's sort of kind of why I went with the way that I went. But if you have any suggestions or any differences that you would make, let me know in the comment section down below. And then maybe we can edit it in a future live stream or something, and kind of have some fun with it that way. Just kind of get a more consensus on what's going on in the meta and other things like that. Now, I'm not really looking to play meta, but you do have to play against it. There is no like competitive ladder versus non-competitive ladder, so it is what it is. But let's get into today's episode here. Let's get a couple games in with Blastoise and see what's good. Hopefully we can represent it strong. Blastoise is probably my second favorite of the starter Pokemon here in the Kanto region. Charizard is just kind of overrated for me. And of course, we are Leaf Green Gaming, and so, Bulbasaur is always the way to go for me. But we have Rio here, and we do go second, which is really, really nice. Basically, unless we play another water deck, we basically know that we're never going to get in trouble. But we do have Mewtwo here to lead. So let's just put it in here, and I don't actually even need to play this. I can actually just sit here so that you can't Sabrina me turn one. And yeah, we'll do that. So yeah, it's bulky enough that nothing can one hit KO me, so may as well. So what do we got? We got a routes game. So this is potentially this is a Mewtwo deck. It actually probably is a Mewtwo deck. Now, them seeing water energy doesn't necessarily mean that I'm running a water deck. At this point, they could just say, oh, you're running dual energy. But there is a Mewtwo right away, and they do have a routes lead. So we get the Blastoise here. So let me just set up this Squirtle, set up this. I will just Misty right away. And we will just see if we can get a single head. See if we get one. That's it. But you know what, though? One head is the difference. We just need a War and it's over. Right? We let this Mewtwo go down. We knock out Mewtwo EX in one shot if we can do this. So, okay, there's a Kirlia. There's a Kirlia. This Mewtwo's going to get going quickly, though, if we don't get a War Turtle at all. That's the only really concerning part about it. Now, they do have 4 cards in their hand. We could red card and at least force the issue. Yeah, they X speed here. Okay, that brings them down to 3. They might have the Gardevoir, and that's why they're so okay X speeding here, because they're trying to make sure that we don't. It's a mind game, of course, but yeah, there's another baby Mewtwo here. I'm going to put that out as well. I'm going to put this out on it. And then what I think... Do I think they're bluffing to try to get down in their hand? Because that wasn't necessary. Well, I guess it does give them a way to attack next turn, too. I think I just wait on it. I think I wait on it. Hopefully they don't have it. If they don't have it right now, though, I red card. They put the energy on it first. They have a second Mewtwo that they have here. Giovanni, so they're going to try to do 60 damage right away. Yeah, they didn't have it. Okay, so that was probably a good thing that I didn't. Probably a good thing that I didn't. We're going to do this. And we're just waiting. We're just waiting. I could do something. If you have a second Giovanni, though, it doesn't really matter, right? Normally, Mewtwo decks don't even run Giovanni anymore, so it is interesting to me. If you do happen to get Kirlia, you are doing the 2-shot anyways. I think I just hold on to the hand that I have. Now, this does start making me a little bit susceptible to red card, but yeah, there's a Pokeball there, so they're hoping to just fish out their deck. It's probably another routes they're going to put on the field here. Normally, Mewtwo's don't run anything other than that. Sometimes they run a Jinx. Sometimes they run a Jinx, but if you're running Baby Mewtwo, then they don't. But, okay. Yeah, so Psychic Sphere here. At this point, doesn't matter. And we get our card. We get our card here. I am going to make sure that you don't red card me this turn, because you won't get a plus. And then we just do this. And we end our turn. So from here, I've now made it not advantageous to red card me. Normally, I might have not played the potion because knowing that it's just going to die anyways, but that is that. We're going to get this KO here, and if you don't have a Gardevoir, Mewtwo's unfortunately also in the same boat as every other 3-stage evolution in that regard, where you can't do anything if you don't have what you need. Because we have our Pokeball here, we actually do get a second, yeah, we'll do this. We'll just make sure that we use our card to get what we need. Your opponent just conceded. Okay, so our opponent conceded, and we get what we needed there. Obviously, they kind of knew they didn't have the Gardevoir in hand. Mewtwo here gets the victory, although that isn't necessarily true. Blastoise came out, and they ran. They ran, but that's okay. So that's a good first game. It kind of shows off how you play this deck. Of course, it is a one-trick pony. There's only one way to really do it. So yeah, we're just kind of living our life here. But next battle here, battle number 2. Again, you can switch out Mewtwo for like Kangaskhan or something like that. Tauros even is not bad. But yeah, I think the 20 extra health actually makes a difference, because Mewtwo can't just two-shot you, right? Like that is a big factor in this. Okay, that's a really good lead here. We're going first here, so it actually doesn't matter at all. My opponent concedes right away. They know the threat that is Mewtwo. They know the threat. They know the threat. Doesn't really count as a game, but you know what? Is what it is. I will take the W here. I'll take the W. I'll take the thanks. Give everybody thanks, of course. Next battle here. And so, okay. So, yeah, in like kind of brainstorming, Tauros can do something, but it's also 100 HP. You kind of get a little bit more damage out of it, and it's the same retreat cost, but like you sort of kind of give up the 20 points that you need. Mewtwo also lives 1 Pikachu hit, which is also big, like a fully charged Pikachu hit. Actually, yeah, it forces them to attack it twice. We actually get all of our basic Pokemon here to start. We're going second, so again, I'm not even going to allow that to happen. And this is a Snom deck. Frostlass, or not Frostlass, what is it? Frostmoth is kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually very annoying. But we don't have anything that we can be forced to put to sleep, so there is sort of kind of that game. I'm gonna put Mewtwo here, I'm gonna put Squirtle here. That way there you can't force me. And then we're just gonna see if we can start drawing the cards that we need. Misty here, red card here, you have 5 cards in hand. It can force you down to 3. Although clearly you didn't have any basic Pokemon, so you don't have a great start, clearly. You know what? It's +2. I may as well go. It is +2. I go for it. And I can actually save the Misty here. I don't actually need to go for Misty turn. Okay. So Pokeball here. They do get a basic Pokemon out of it. I probably gave them a better hand, to be 100% honest with you, but the card advantage I will take. Look at this. Look at this. Pokeball into 2 Articuno EXs. That's just nasty, bruh. That's nasty, bruh. Okay. So we have 2 potions. Again, I'm not super concerned. We Misty here. We just try to get what we can. It might not work, right? It might just be a dead card. It's okay. We just end our turn, keep going. It's all about the opportunity cost. Okay, so if this goes poorly, They're gonna set up this Articuno to probably have 3 energy, and then they're gonna use a Snom energy to retreat, which is really unfortunate, but that's probably what's gonna happen here. But yeah, they're gonna get completely set up, and I don't have War Turtle or Blastoise yet, which means I need to top deck both. Okay, you're gonna actually switch now? That's actually kind of interesting. Okay, you're gonna do the 10 damage. You're not gonna switch. Okay. So we just continue to put energy onto onto our Squirtle. We just continue. We get Blastoise, we get War Turtle. Okay, so we get both in hand. Honestly, there's not really much I can do. I'm gonna put this down. And yeah, I'm gonna potion here. At least make it not advantageous to red card. I don't want you just switching into this Articuno for free, but this Blastoise does KO Articuno right away, so there is at least something to be said about it. Okay, now you can't Sabrina me. Okay, there's 2 energy here. There's Frostmoth. You're gonna put me to sleep. Yep. Okay, you're gonna put me to sleep, which is fine. I think if you don't wake up, you cannot. Okay, we're gonna do this. We're gonna set this up. So now we have our 5, and I'm just gonna let this Frostmoth take out this this Pokemon here. Because honestly, this doesn't hurt us, right? We potentially get another Blastoise online. We potentially also just get energy onto Mewtwo and switch out, right? Like, there's nothing really that threatening here. And you're going to use this Misty to try to boost up that other Articuno so you can do something? Yeah, okay. That's fine with me. Powder Snow here. Perfectly fine. We're still asleep. We do wake up, which doesn't really bother me. Like, I don't actually care about this. Pokeball does nothing here though, so let's just get this Squirtle, I guess, ready to go as well. And we end our turn here. But we're in a really good spot here. We're in a really good spot. You have to get another Frostmoth to even be a threat, and I just don't think you are. I have a potion here, so we did use 1 potion. We used it early just to make sure that we were good, but that was strictly to keep our card down in our hand. Opponent's thinking. We are now about the same time as well, so I was playing a little slow, I guess. 45 seconds, are they going to stall it out, or are they going to play something? I think they're trying to contemplate whether they knock this out or not. The correct play is not to, probably, because it slows me down a turn. Yep. Okay. So we are just going to Misty onto this Squirtle. We don't get heads. It's fine. I'm just going to do this. And there's nothing else for me to do here. But I am forcing it that next turn I can force the issue. Okay, there's a second Frostmoth. So they're as set up as they can be here. And now they go for the KO because I threatened the ability to switch. Yep. Okay, so that's okay. That is okay with me. We do go into Blastoise here. We get this KO on this Frostmoth. And then next turn, I actually have 2 Sabrinas here. That's really funny. I'm actually going to put 1 on this Mewtwo just so that you can't do anything to me. And obviously, we just Hydro Bazooka here. Knock this thing out. You're going to do the 40 to try to put me to sleep, and that's perfectly fine. Because if I wake up, I force the issue and win the game in the next turn. Okay, draw 2 cards. Now, we could get unlucky. We could get unlucky. That's certainly a possibility. 40 damage here. If we don't wake up. We don't wake up. So we just need to make sure that we don't go down low enough to the point that we can't do anything. We just heal up here. We get the second energy on this Mewtwo. I don't really need to force any issue. There's no reason to want to force Articuno in. Yep. Yep, there's nothing else to do. So we see if we wake up here. We do not wake up. But we've now gotten 2 tails in a row. So hopefully here, because if you mess up and you switch out here and I wake up, you're in a lot of trouble. Yeah, so you're going for it here because you have to go for it here. You have to go for it. And at this point, it's about doing enough damage. Exactly. I do wake up, and that is GG. That is GG here. We get the W here. I'm not even going to waste it. I'm not even going to do nothing. Opponent concedes right away. Yeah. So that is a good game to my opponent here. Honestly, very, very close. It came down to a coin flip. So very, very close, but good game. And you know what? We can maybe get one more in, see what's good. What's good. You know, we've played 2 pretty good games with this Blastoise deck. I actually think this is a really underrated deck. I think this is actually better than what a lot of people give it credit for. I don't necessarily think it's top tier, but I do think that it is maybe like a tier 3, tier 4 kind of deck. It's not like irrelevant like people kind of think that this deck is right now. So we go second here as well. Any deck with Misty, I think, can never be considered a tier 5 deck. I think there's just too much potential. Okay. So we go second, so we're going to get to draw here. I actually wouldn't be too upset if my opponent red carded me here. This is not a great hand. They don't. Okay. So number 1 is getting the Squirtle. Number 2 is getting everything else. And we're playing another Mewtwo game. So, okay. Mewtwo EX. Okay, so if they have everything in their hand, this game is going to go very, very quickly for them. And I am getting stuck here behind not having anything ready to go. So we're going to just Professor Research first. And we actually get both forms of the evolution, which is really nice. And there's nothing else we can do, so I'm just going to end my turn here. We Misty next turn with a War Turtle. Okay, that's fine. That is fine with me. Okay, and that's a Jinx. That's a really scary thing for my opponent to have. Jinx does 20 extra damage for every single energy that you have on your Pokemon besides the 30 that it just does on its own. So it's a really scary Pokemon for Blastoise. It's maybe the scariest Mewtwo matchup we have. Alakazam is the only scarier one. And Alakazam is so niche. Okay, we get the energy on this. We War Turtle up. We Misty here. Actually, it maybe would have been smart for me to actually do that second, but it's okay. 4 cards in hand. I could force it to be a 3/3 issue. You don't have a Curlia, though, so, I mean, it does sort of kind of play out. You haven't shown me that you have a Curlia. I wouldn't be shocked, though, if you have a Gardevoir. There's 8 cards left in your deck. And you still haven't shown a Curlia. Okay, so if they continue to not show Curlia, once they get 1 Curlia, then I have to sit there. I have to do it, right? But, okay, we're going to Misty here. We get a heads. We get 2 heads. Okay, that's really huge. Because I would actually like to get energy onto here so that I could switch if I need to. There's the Curlia. Okay, so I have to assume they have Gardevoir in hand. Honestly, with 7 cards in their hand, or 5 cards in their hand and 7 in the deck, it's a very close situation, but I have to assume they have something. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna red card here now. Force the issue a little bit that they don't have that. I maybe gave them a Gardevoir, right? You never know, but I'm gonna get this second Mewtwo here. I'm gonna get this Mewtwo online so that I can do this. The other really scary thing, though, is that they might have the energy. They do. So they're gonna set up this Mewtwo, or they're gonna get the ability to switch this routes in. And that's kind of scary. Okay, there's a second Curlia. Yeah, I maybe sped them up. But I haven't drawn anything that I need that can be anywhere effective for me. And so we're also in a weird situation where we have 9 cards left in our deck, and we need to top deck one of our 2 Blastoises. Now, we have a good chance of it. Like, it's the odds are getting better every turn, but we don't have that many turns left if that's going to happen here. XP here. Yeah, that's going to let this Mewtwo do 150 damage. It is over if we don't get a Blastoise here. If we get a Blastoise, we actually are in a really good spot. If we don't, however, we're in a really scary spot because the Jinx comes back and revenge kills us anyways. So red card here, that's actually really good. Well, it's not great, but it is good. It gives me a second chance at life. Both Blastoise in the old Amber. Both Blastoise in the old Amber. So that forces you down, and that's actually great for me. Okay. And I didn't stick extra energy on this War Turtle and cause problems, so I actually do think it was definitely worth it. If I red carded, I think they would just switch into Curlia, and they wouldn't give me the Jinx. So we get rid of this. We don't let you just replay that. And at least here, if this Jinx doesn't KO me, which I think it does, 30 and then 20 for each. So 130 here is what it does. Yeah, opponent concedes. Okay, so that is another W, and we get through the massive threat that was Jinx. Honestly, again, Blastoise, you just had to give me that Blastoise. And I think that red card might have been a mistake because they knew that I was waiting on the red card. They knew that I was waiting on a Blastoise. I was sitting there with War Turtle forever. I think they went for card advantage and just, or they were trying not to get red carded themselves, but like, I don't know, man. I think that was just a bad card to play. I think you gave me the game, but GG's anyways. And I think that is it. 1-1-1-1. Good game to you. Played on 11 turns. Look at that. 1-1-1-1 gets played on turn 11. That is crazy. That is crazy to me. That is 6 ones. But yeah, we're gonna wrap today's episode right here. We're almost level 31, actually. Oh my, another one. Yeah, we're gonna wrap today's episode right here. So thanks everyone for watching. Click like the video, subscribe if you really liked it. We're gonna do Charizard next episode, so be on the lookout for that, and we'll see you guys in the next one.